Well, it's only Tuesday, but there's already been plenty of financial news this week, including the latest report on inflation released just this morning. CBS News business analyst Jill Sussinger is live in New York. And Jill, we have seen inflation ease annually. So what did February's numbers show us?
We saw continued improvement in the deceleration of prices. So that's the good news. Prices were up by 6% overall from a year ago. We were at 6.4% just, in January. So we see improvement. This is the smallest increase year over year since September of 21. That's the good news. But gang, 6% inflation is still very high. The core rate at 5.5%, also very high. We have seen some progress in food and the proteins coming down a little bit. But again, anyone who shops and fills up their car and lives in this economy knows that prices remain high.
And Jill, we've been talking about this for months now. The Fed Reserve keeps raising those interest rate hikes for us. Now there's been talk of will they do it again or will they not? So how will this inflation report impact their decision that they're going to be making next week?
Remember way back when, which like maybe a week ago, where we were talking about bank failures, we were talking about the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, and he was saying that rates have to go up. We have to fight inflation. The rates have to stay higher for longer. A week later, what we know is these two bank failures are really looming large in the Fed's decision for next week. And that means that economists are essentially split 50-50-ish, where they think some really believe that the Fed's going to have to pause its rate hike campaign to see how the bank sector reacts, to see how the financial institutions are reacting to their latest moves to shore up the depositors at Signature and Silicon Valley Bank. And then there's others who think that 6% inflation is just going to be too much for the Fed to take. They'll go another quarter of a percentage point. We don't know, but I can tell you that the information flow over the last week makes the idea of a Fed pause a lot more likely today than it was.
I can see that. And obviously, with everything that we saw yesterday, it just makes their decision more complicated that they have for next week. So I think the big question for a lot of people, even if you did not bank with SVB or Signature, what about our banks? Is our money safe? Should we be taking our money out? Is this something we need to be thinking about of making withdrawals, or can we keep it in our bank?
I think that the number one thing to consider is, are you banking with an FDIC insured institution? Or if you have a credit union, does that credit union carry credit union insurance? So both of those things need to be determined. Then if you have that insurance coverage and your accounts are below $250,000, please don't do a thing. And just think about this. The vast majority of Americans do not have $250,000 or more in their accounts. For everyone else, whether that's you as an individual, your company, your nonprofit, I do think this incident that we've seen over the last couple of days shows you that you have to be very careful about your cash management. You probably should be banking with a couple of different institutions. You may need to be buying treasuries instead of going directly into a bank depository situation.
All right, a lot of good advice there, Jill, as a lot of us are rethinking how we are banking at this moment. Jill, thank you so much. And you can see Jill regularly on CBS Mornings and the CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell. For more analysis, you can go to jillonmoney.com.